Most countries have one capital city, Washington DC, London, Tokyo, but did you know that some nations actually have more than one capital? While this might seem unusual, there are strong historical, political and administrative reasons behind this decision. Today, we're exploring why do some countries have more than one capital, and uncovering the fascinating reasons behind this unique system. Countries like South Africa, Bolivia and the Netherlands all divide their government functions across multiple cities. But why? Stay tuned as we break down the logic, history and political significance behind multi-capital nations, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss our deep dive geography videos. 1. The concept of multiple capitals. Why does it exist? When we think of a capital city, we often assume it's the political, economic and cultural heart of a country. However, some nations have decided that one capital isn't enough to serve their administrative needs. But why would a country choose to have 2 or even 3 capitals? The answer lies in a mix of history, geography, politics and practicality. One of the main reasons for multiple capitals is historical compromise. Many countries that have multiple capitals today once had deep-rooted regional rivalries or colonial histories that required a balance of power between different cities. Instead of choosing one city over another and risking political conflict, they decided to split their government functions to satisfy multiple regions. Another reason is geography. In large countries, placing the capital in one location might make governance difficult. By having different capitals handling different roles, a country can ensure fair access to government institutions for all citizens. This is especially important in geographically diverse nations where the population is spread out. Political stability is another factor. Some nations strategically place their capitals in different cities to ensure that no single region becomes too powerful. This system can help prevent over-centralization, where one city dominates all aspects of government. In some cases, the decision to have multiple capitals is driven by economic and functional efficiency. Having separate capitals for legislative, judicial and administrative functions allows different government branches to operate without overcrowding one city. This helps in managing population growth, reducing congestion, and even stimulating development in different areas. Despite its advantages, a multi-capital system comes with challenges. It can be costly, requiring government officials to travel between cities frequently, increasing administrative expenses. Infrastructure must also be maintained in multiple locations, which can put a strain on national budgets. Additionally, citizens and businesses may face difficulties when accessing government services, depending on where they are located. Although most nations stick to a single capital, those that have opted for multiple capitals have done so for carefully calculated reasons. One of the best examples of this system in action is South Africa, which uniquely operates with 3 different capitals, each playing a distinct role in governance. 2. South Africa, the only country with 3 capitals. South Africa is the only country in the world with 3 separate capitals, each serving a different function. This unique system was established due to the country's historical divisions, colonial past, and need for political balance. Instead of choosing one city to house all government functions, South Africa divided power among Pretoria, Cape Town, and Bloemfontein. Pretoria, the administrative capital. Pretoria is where the executive branch of government operates, meaning this is where the president and government ministries are based. The city is home to the Union buildings, which house the office of the president and other key government offices. Pretoria has a strong political history, as it was once the capital of the old Transvaal Republic, an Afrikaner-dominated state before South Africa became a unified nation. Cape Town, the legislative capital. Cape Town, one of South Africa's most famous cities, is where the Parliament of South Africa is located. It serves as the legislative capital, meaning all laws and national policies are debated and passed here. Cape Town was originally the administrative centre during British colonial rule, and because of its historical significance, it was chosen to continue playing a central role in governance. Bloemfontein, the judicial capital. Bloemfontein is the least known of the three capitals, but holds great importance as the judicial centre of the country. It is home to the Supreme Court of Appeal, making it the headquarters of South Africa's judicial system. Bloemfontein was chosen to ensure representation for the former Orange Free State, another Afrikaner republic before the country's unification. So why did South Africa not just pick one capital city like most other nations? The answer lies in its deeply complex history. During the early 1900s, when South Africa was forming as a unified country, there was intense rivalry between different regions. The British-controlled Cape Colony, the Boer republics, Transvaal and Orange Free State, and the Natal region all had competing interests. To prevent favouritism and political unrest, the government decided on a compromise solution, distributing government functions across 3 cities. Although this system has helped maintain regional balance, it has also created challenges. Government officials frequently have to travel between the 3 capitals, which increases costs and complicates decision-making. However, this arrangement remains in place today, reflecting South Africa's commitment to fair governance across its diverse regions. South Africa's multi-capital structure is unique, but it is not the only country that has struggled with regional power conflicts. Another nation that has 2 capitals for political and historical reasons is Bolivia, which continues to deal with its own divided government system. 3. Bolivia, the rivalry between La Paz and Sucre. Bolivia is one of the few countries in the world that has 2 capitals, a situation rooted in history, political tensions, and regional pride. The country officially recognizes Sucre as its constitutional capital, yet La Paz functions as the administrative capital, hosting the government's executive and legislative branches. This unusual dual capital system reflects the long-standing rivalry between 2 of Bolivia's most important cities. Sucre, the constitutional capital. Sucre holds the historical and legal title of Bolivia's capital, as it was the first capital of the newly independent nation. It was in Sucre that Bolivia declared its independence from Spain in 1825, and it became the home of the Supreme Court of Justice. The city remains a symbol of Bolivia's colonial history, with well-preserved Spanish architecture and deep cultural significance. However, as Bolivia developed, power and economic influence shifted away from Sucre. The city, located in the highlands, was somewhat isolated from the country's growing trade and infrastructure networks. As a result, by the late 19th century, there was a push to move the government closer to the economic centre of the country. This led to a bitter dispute between Sucre and another rising city, La Paz. La Paz, the de facto seat of government. La Paz, located at a breathtaking 3,650 metres above sea level, is the highest administrative capital in the world. Unlike Sucre, La Paz became a hub of commerce and economic activity, thanks to its proximity to important mining and trade routes. As Bolivia's economy expanded, the political elite saw La Paz as a more practical location for the government. In 1899, a civil war erupted between Sucre and La Paz supporters over where the government should be located. The outcome was a compromise. Sucre would remain the constitutional capital, but La Paz would house the president, Congress and government ministries. This compromise prevented further division, but the rivalry between the 2 cities still exists today. Many Sucre residents still campaign for the full return of the government to their city, arguing that La Paz unfairly dominates national politics. However, with its economic strength and strategic location, La Paz remains the real centre of power in Bolivia. The country's unique 2-capital system reflects its complex past, but also serves as a reminder of how regional rivalries can shape national politics. Another country with a fascinating capital divide is the Netherlands, where Amsterdam is the official capital, yet the government functions out of The Hague. 4. The Netherlands, Amsterdam versus The Hague. The Netherlands presents another interesting case of a nation with 2 capitals. But unlike Bolivia and South Africa, the divide is less about political rivalry and more about historical practicality. While Amsterdam is officially recognized as the capital, The Hague is the political and administrative centre, housing the country's government and monarchy. Amsterdam, the official capital. Amsterdam has long been the financial and cultural heart of the Netherlands. The city was granted the status of capital in 1814 by King William I, despite the government not being based there. The decision was mostly symbolic, as Amsterdam was already the largest city and economic powerhouse of the country. The city played a key role in the Dutch Golden Age, becoming a major trading centre with its famous canals, merchants and financial institutions. Today, it remains one of the world's most visited cities, known for its museums, liberal policies and vibrant economy. However, when it comes to politics, Amsterdam takes a backseat to another city, The Hague. The Hague, the seat of government. The Hague, despite not being the official capital, serves as the true centre of Dutch political power. It is home to the Dutch Parliament, the Supreme Court and the official residence of the King. The city also houses the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court, making it one of the most important legal hubs in the world. The reason for the split dates back to the 16th and 17th centuries, when The Hague was already functioning as the administrative centre of the Dutch Republic. Instead of moving the government to Amsterdam, it was decided that The Hague would continue serving as the political capital, while Amsterdam remained the economic centre. This arrangement worked so well that it was never changed, even after Amsterdam was officially named the capital in the 19th century. This unique system avoids political congestion, as The Hague operates as a quieter, more focused environment for government affairs. Meanwhile, Amsterdam remains the international face of the Netherlands, attracting millions of tourists and businesses. Although the Netherlands system is not based on political rivalry like Bolivia's, it still raises an interesting question. Does a capital city have to be where the government operates? In this case, the answer is no, showing that different nations define capital in different ways. The Netherlands is not alone in using a split capital system. Several other countries, such as Malaysia, Sri Lanka and Tanzania, have similar setups for different strategic reasons. 5. Other countries with multiple capitals and their regions. While South Africa, Bolivia and the Netherlands are some of the most well-known examples, they are not the only countries that divide their capital functions. Several other nations have adopted a multi-capital system due to political, economic and geographic reasons. Here are some of the most interesting cases. Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur versus Putrajaya. Kuala Lumpur is Malaysia's largest city and economic hub, but it is not the full seat of government. In 1999, the Malaysian government officially moved most of its administrative offices and ministries to Putrajaya, a planned city built specifically to house government buildings. The move was made to reduce congestion in Kuala Lumpur and create a more organised administrative centre. However, Kuala Lumpur remains the official capital, financial powerhouse and cultural heart of Malaysia. Sri Lanka, Colombo versus Sri Jayawardenepura Kota. Sri Lanka also has two capitals, with Colombo serving as the commercial and economic centre, while Sri Jayawardenepura Kota is the administrative capital. That's a mouthful. The decision to establish a separate capital for government functions was made to ease overcrowding in Colombo and create a more controlled environment for governance. Despite this, Colombo continues to be the country's main international hub, hosting embassies, business headquarters and cultural institutions. Tanzania, Dodoma versus Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam was Tanzania's capital for most of its history, but in 1974, the government decided to move the capital to Dodoma, a city located in the country's central region. The move was made to reduce economic imbalance and bring government functions closer to rural areas, as Dar es Salaam is on the coast, far from the country's interior. However, despite Dodoma being the official capital, most government offices and businesses still remain in Dar es Salaam, making it the country's real centre of activity. Each of these countries adopted a multi-capital system for different reasons, some to prevent political conflict, others to manage population growth, and some to balance regional development. However, running multiple capitals comes with challenges, such as higher administrative costs, the need for frequent travel between cities, and logistical inefficiencies. While most countries continue to function with a single capital city, the nations that have split their government functions demonstrate how geography, politics and history shape a country's decision on where to place its capital. As cities grow and political landscapes shift, will more countries adopt multiple capitals in the future? Only time will tell. The idea of a capital city isn't always as simple as it seems. Some countries have chosen to split their government functions, whether for historical, political or logistical reasons. From South Africa's three-capital system to Bolivia's long-standing rivalry, these unique setups reflect the complexities of nation building. Would you prefer one capital city or a divided system? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more fascinating geography and travel videos. See you in the next one.